Macca's Burgers ever.
He's a nice boy, isn't he? Destiny.
Oh, man. Yeah, no, he is. Absolutely. I thought you
Not
were
allowed
talking
to
about the
stay,
guy in the Macca's ad.
He
I
seems
was like,
nice as well.
I don't know.
What?
We're all wearing brown watches.
Oh, okay. What?
That was so much build-up for such a worthless piece of information.
Did that just happen, or was this like? Wait. Okay.
We've been wearing brown watches. Who got a new watch this split?
No, I actually just started wearing it again because I found it at the
Okay,
bottom
so
of
it's you.
my bag. Okay, here's the real story. My
Please.
bag broke. The zipper broke. I took it to a place to repair, but she was like, "You need a whole new zipper, and it's just going to cost the cost of the bag." So like, who cares? And then so I dumped everything out of my bag, and I was like, "Hey, I own a watch," so I put it on this last couple of weeks.
How deep was this bag? That
No,
you
I
didn't
it
know
just-
you had a watch.
Have you
Yeah.
seen the Harry Potter film about the animals?
Is this the second time you brought this up?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure.
I broke. I had something to say.
Okay.
What were we going to talk about?
Was it about last game? Because
Maybe.
ironically,
Yeah.
a very important victory, right? After the Chiefs lost today, you don't look at like Mammoth versus Legacy.
It was.
Yeah, it's like top of the table versus bottom of the table. Picking that one up, now out and out first place.
Check out the brains on Bryce.
Check out the big brain on Bryce. You don't get that
Big
reference.
Kahuna Burger.
You do get that
Yes.
reference. Yeah, I mean that was a
my seat
game that Mammoth, expecting to win, but also needed to win.
Yeah, yeah.
At this point in the stage. Anything else you want to add?
No, but on the flip side, I thought that was actually a pretty stable legacy performance. That's not going to be enough to get it done versus Mammoth, but they're currently the best team in the league.
Yep.
You play that against the Direwolves or an Order or a Gravitas,
Any of the top six on a
Yeah.
bad day?
you probably pick up a win there. That was actually much more stable and a very good performance from Guts. I much prefer Guts on the ganking junglers. Can he play more Rek'Sai? and
He's
stuff
always
like that,
been
please?
like a Rek'Sai guy as
Yeah.
well, right? Like there's a few champions, like it's the Zac, it's the Rek'Sai that he's been big on, and he spent most of that game just like across the
Big
screen.
dope,
So
nice
long.
and decisive on the Nautilus. Like there were some really promising sides out of Legacy. I enjoyed watching the game.
They clearly listened to our chat before the game. I keep getting a focus. Sorry, my phone keeps vibrating. I think my
Keeps what?
groceries are vibrating. My groceries are getting delivered, and the guy is like calling me because he doesn't want to knock because he'll wake up Banjo. I'll just leave him.
Oh, is there a new sign?
There's a new sign.
you
Oh,
need- you
stop.
would
Better
rally your
believe
phone
there's a new
first,
sign.
wake up.
Oh, I'm still
Safeway
coming
man,
for you,
if you're
Safeway.
watching, the way you get around this is you just run with the side.
Rip the sign off the door and run. Now, before we get into talking about the players that have stood out or potentially are yet to stand out this split, I do want to promote what we're going to be doing next week on the broadcast, and that is budget cosplay. So we did this last year.
Split?
Last
I
year.
thought it was going
Split.
to be a one-off
Split.
never again.
It was a while ago. No, this was an amazing segment. So this is what we want from you guys. We're going to be giving away 4 HyperX gaming headsets. All you need to do is come up with a budget cosplay of a League of Legends champion. So the cheaper, the better. We want you to take a picture, send it in to us. You have a week to do this. So we'll be doing it, I believe it's next Saturday. We'll be sort of choosing winners for
Of course, this is called the LEC, the less expensive cosplay.
Oh, on brand. Thank you very
No
much.
worries.
And so you just need to figure out a super cheap, super budget cosplay. What were some of the standouts from last?
We had the
last-
Talon guy. I remember the Talon one. There was also a really wholesome Nunu and Willump. I think it like had a kid on his
Oh,
shoulders.
the kid on the shoulders.
Yeah,
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 the
yeah,
knives
yeah.
on the scarves.
I remember
were
somebody
cool.
That was
did-
Talon,
Yep.
yeah.
Somebody did an Anivia, but it was just like a picture of a bird
A picture of a
outside.
duck
Yeah.
sitting
And then
outside.
Then there
Someone
was
had their
the
nips
nips.
out.
Somebody
Yeah,
had the
someone had
Keep
nips.
your nips at home.
I know who you are, Nip Boy. There was also the Master Yi that
Yes.
was the like
Had the-
glass bottles.
yeah, the
that were,
cups.
like,
Yeah,
taped to their
yeah, yeah,
head.
With
yeah.
an Order hoodie. Just very important to point that
Yeah,
out. That
okay.
was Order Master. Yeah.
There was. Yeah, there
was
was a
some-
lot.
There was a bunch, and
Yeah.
we
That was really
absolutely
fun.
loved them. So we would love to see more of
debatable.
your budget cosplay.
Some of us like them.
Let me put it this way: we all love it, and he hates it. So send them in to make us happy and to make him unhappy. So it's a
Oh,
win-win.
that's what we're going to do now.
And so please send them in next Saturday. You have a week. 4 gaming headsets from HyperX. High quality, amazing headsets are going to be
Okay.
handed out
If
to
you have
our
glasses-
favorite 4.
You want this headset.
You do. You absolutely do.
It's called the Cloud for a damn reason.
Oh,
They're
okay. You got
very good.
You got thick rims.
I do.
I got thin rims.
Thin
See,
rims.
thin rims hurt me more though.
What?
That's actually why I went to thick rims.
Oh, because it's like it
Thin
doesn't
rims-
spread it out.
Yeah, no spread.
Yeah.
Can
okay.
technically it's the arms. The rims have nothing to do with it.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, I
It's the
mean,
arms.
what?
Thanks,
yeah.
Dad.
Thank,
Yeah.
yeah, sick.
You're welcome.
Great.
All right, it's time to talk about players. Now, we kind of broke this down.
Another masterful segue.
Oh, is this just because I said that the people should make you unhappy? You're doing a hell of a job by yourself. Now, we broke this down into 3 rough categories, but feel free to improvise if you want. Let's start off with the superstars this split. Who's standing out, who's absolutely killing it, who is 100% making it into finals, or should be.
Oh, okay.
Well, no, you don't need to add the last bit if you don't want.
Oh, yeah.
But
Who's
for you, Bryce, who is the standout this split?
Quick aside before we get to that point, I
this
like
about
how
rings?
these things are just like going up and up. I don't even know what they're called. I've never seen tassels so high on a man's hood. But yeah, like a couple of players, I think when you're taking a look at the split, you can kind of go back differing lengths. Like Raze for me is an AD carry that has been performing super well.
Yep.
This guy's just been absolutely popping off. Percentage of team damage, 30%, which is very significant. We saw the Chiefs in their loss right now, and we talked about like Swiper's champion pool versus TN's is different. He's now played a game with Cupcake as well, so the comps that your team is playing makes a big difference towards damage share, but that is just high nonetheless. 70% kill parts as well is super strong. But there's a number of other names you can chuck in the ring, like Ryoma is a big player as well. He's been super good this split in the Bombers in their first couple of weeks when they looked weak. I remember sitting on this couch and like game after game for the Bombers, I'm just like, this guy is dragging them over the line, and he's been absolutely popping off recently.
Yeah, I completely agree. And the thing about Tommy that like is really impressive is, he's a team fighting mid laner that can also side lane. And he plays everything from the hardest control mages, like the Azirs and the kind of Vladimir's-esque champions, to the most explosive assassins, like the Zeds and LeBlancs.
Yeah.
So literal champion ocean for the guy. Plays every role well. He's kind of that jack of all trades. And then, like, the thing that I've come to appreciate about Ryoma, because obviously I didn't know him very well and then got to know him a little bit through FBI or Vic, one of his good mates, is I think he's a real positive influence on the team now.
Right.
Which wasn't the same as the kid that I knew when he first joined Sin Gaming, was a little bit of an emotional player. But from everything I've heard from the Bombers camps, like certainly one of the people that are stepping up trying to lead this team and trying to be a really positive influence. So I think like behind the scenes also really good things coming from him.
Absolutely. So Tommy's your pick for...
I had Quinny K.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Bryce and I spend too much time talking to each other because we've had all the same answers so far. Like, if you're going to build it, I always said this, and I said this about, I think, Raze when he joined the Chiefs from the Direwolves. At that time, if you were going to build a team around a player, you would build it around
Franchise
Raze.
player.
Franchise player,
That's-
I called him.
Yeah, that's
And it's been a couple of years, but Raze would still be my franchise player
yeah, okay.
if you could lure him away from Frank Lee and the Chiefs somehow.
Well, you can't. So, instead, you're going to have to build a franchise around a surprise player, someone who you weren't expecting this split to stand out. Who would that be?
I had Pabu. I had Jackson. So,
Okay.
I think his team's not doing all that well at the moment, but this is a guy that has kind of the whole world against him and has been consistently putting up pretty good performances in my eyes. Had that Kennen game, had a Mordekaiser game. Like, the highlight moments that stand out in my head that are coming from Gravitas are all around Pabu. And once again, like, I mean, you obviously know him quite well, having coached him for a split, but I get to fly home with Gravitas every now and again. And we get to have some good chats. And everything I can see about Pabu is he's trying to keep the mood up in the team. And like he's one of those players that I had him on my Origin squad. Little bit of a meme lord, but throws it in at like unsuspecting times to really lighten the mood. And I think that that would be needed right now in a Gravitas split.
A couple of things about Jackson, like from coaching him specifically, like good teammate, absolutely. He was a guy that randomly came up to me. He's like asking for like sort of feedback in a team environment. One day he just came up and he's like, I talk too much. Like in review, like I'm dominating the conversation, like tell me to shut up. And like, so he's very self-critical. And also I have, and like I'm a player that learns by feel and always has been, but also I'm a bit of a spreadsheet goblin. So like the way I approach the game is very like honestly boring. I like my entire career had a lot of spreadsheets, and he's a guy.
Lulu is going to be one of the champions I play this weekend, so I need to have 5 solo queue games and 3 scrim games on Lulu.
Yeah.
Count them out.
Yeah, no, and like it's very useful. And he's a guy, and it's all about like the process.
Yep.
And he's a guy that is all about the process, which I really respect, right? Like he'll just go into a game and get smacked. Right. And then like it'll be fine. You know what I mean? It'll come out of like a really bad scrim and be like, no, let's trust the process. Like as long as there's improvement, it's not about like this one thing. It's about the long haul.
Yeah.
And so like mentality wise, I actually really respect that.
And a little bit of a chameleon, which I think that you need to be on a league team. So obviously like Origin is completely different, but I'll go back to the example.
Yep.
Swiffer can just be a jerk, like at times. And Pabu was really, really good at identifying like when he needed to like be the bigger man and like just shut up in like situations, and then like when he could be the loud and boisterous one and stuff like that. And I think that it's often like obviously like Swiffer and those kinds of players need to work on themselves as well, but it's definitely It's a two-way street, is what I'm trying to say, right? And like that would really impress me that he acknowledges like the part that he takes in arguments, even if he wasn't the person starting the argument, which is really impressive from a young player.
Yeah.
What else don't you like about Swiffer? No, don't answer that question.
I was about to say, how long have we got? I've known him for a very long time.
So then, finally, we've got players who, let's say, aren't reaching their potential, who aren't performing in the way that we were expecting or that we wanted them to. Who there has more to prove this split, or more of a future ahead of them?
So I think I put down Biopanther for this one, and it was a double-edged sword because Biopanther's last split was real big stinky cheese, and now he's like on the climb back. But he is not in Direwolves won the OPL form, and this guy was like running around on Mundo, like headbutting people and taking big bites out of them, right? So I put Biopanther in there because this guy should now be the best Oceanic top laner, in my opinion, because he's played on a great team and he has a genuine opportunity on the Direwolves to be the leader and the carry they need because he's surrounded by young talent. And I think that he is recognized that and is on the climb back to that stage, but still has a ways to go to be that top laner for me.
Also, like once again, a guy that's a super positive like influence on the atmosphere. Like genuinely, like you speak to pro players like all over the place, and it's very easy if you've been like in a League of Legends career to be like jaded by solo queue, and there's so many players that are like that. And then Biopanther is just like, no, I love League of like you want to play ARAMs? Let's play ARAMs. Right? Like he just chugs League of Legends, which is super wholesome.
To be fair though, like he came in as a rookie into an incredible team. They completely dominated. That is then a big ask for a young kid who's only had one split under their belt to then become the old hand on the team, to be able to be the leader. That's a hard pivot to do, having only 10 weeks experience.
A veteran, in your words.
A veteran.
You know what I mean? One split.
One split.
Get back's a veteran. Biopanther's a veteran.
When do you become a veteran? That is the question. Is it 1 week?
The thing is I think that it's actually changed because back in the day, it's like you play a year, you're a veteran of the scene. Nowadays, like Oceanic League of Legends has existed solidified, and now Swiper and Swiffer and Spooks and these guys are the veterans. Like I would even say like the 3-year players in my eyes aren't veterans yet. They're like journeyman players. Like by no means do I call Ray's a veteran. Like he's in the peak of his career. Like you're not picking him up for veteran status. You're picking him up because he's a damn good player. Like, I think people like Claire and stuff fall into that category as well. So I think like in my opinion, it's like 4 or 5 years plus.
Yeah, okay.
And Bryce, what about you?
Well, this is interesting because I don't know where you got your questions from. Because I got most improved. You know what I mean? Not like most potential to improve. You know what I mean? And I think
take that.
And I think it was an interesting discussion because it's kind of like how long you want to go back. Like this is now like the year of League of Legends. So there's like some players you can pin on like Dream. This is a guy that got smacked around on Sin, then joins Order, and then there's like in the Gauntlet is absolutely popping off. You have players like Shock.
Not even in the Gauntlet. I know you hate these stats, but Dream loses Order some games, so I'll never like disagree with that. He is a young player, but his stats are comparable to Quinn's. His laning stats are very close to Quinn's. His damage per minute is exactly the same as Quinn's. He's like everything he does is like pretty much mirrored on Quinn's. The difference is that Quinn very rarely drops the ball when he has those numbers.
Has done it like once this split.
Dream needs to learn to be that player, but I think like as far as like head on his shoulders willingness to improve, like. Obviously, he's my 80 carry. I rate him really highly.
100%. Another 80 carry, Praedyth, I think, like different stature in the league, but out and out, like in a bunch of legacy games, like they're just blind picking him Sivir, and he's like the one damage threat that is online. And then like the other ones for me, like I kind of like was going through this process, and I mentioned Shock briefly, and to like have a bigger conversation about mid lane. Because this is a guy that spent years.
You have 30 seconds to have that big conversation.
He just got we won't even have it then. But he was just getting smacked around on Tectonic, right? And this is a guy that was like so unassuming, but is now genuinely like one of the top mid laners. And I think mid lane in OS. Like, this is the TLDR. Used to be, like, Swiffer Choo-Choos, that was it. And you went through iterations. Like, Perfection is in there. We had, like, Rhymeister, Claire, who's had, like, good points of his career, bad points, yada, yada. And now we have a very deep pool of Ryoma. Swiffer's on form again. Triple is there. Claire is there. You're adding Shock to the list. And this is, like, the majority of the mid laners in the league are actually just very scary to deal with. And it's a super deep role.
And if you're going to put Improved in there, you also have to throw Eladoric in.
Yes.
Because he was someone that was, like, you wouldn't pick him up. And now he's, like, a genuine like carry support player. Like he wins you game from the support positions. What you used to do well, which is why I always said that you were a great player. It's what Destiny does. Like game-winning support players are very hard to find, and Aladoric is on the way to being that. And like that is why I think like those two players what make Avant scary, because you know what you're going to get out of Chippy.
It just happens.
You now know what you're going to get out of Miru. Gunkrab's just a pretty standard 80 carry, in my opinion, until he goes onto the Ziggs and stuff. But those two players in Shock and Aladoric are like the X factor when I look at the Avant Gaming lineup.
And if we really widen out the most improved, we got to put me in there because I'm really popping off on that Zillion. All right, we spoke about them a lot. The final game today, it is Direwolves versus Gravitas. It is time for Rusty and Pulse and the Mecca's Champ Select.
Thank you. I agree. Yeah, Nick Boy. Probably
Nick
most
Boy?
improved. If we're looking at the caster team.
I have seen him not on Zillion, and I'm happy to agree that his Zillion, he has rapidly improved.
That's true.
It's
Over
good.
the course of a game. It's true. That is
No,
the,
it's
the
2
most
games, 2
rapid.
games.
2 games. Yeah,
2 games.
that's probably the most rapid improvement you could possibly have.
Basically OP already, right? No.
Who's the
not
biggest?
even. Actually, no.
Who's the
never
biggest
mind.
surprise on the OPL team?
Biggest surprise on
Yeah.
the OPL team
Yeah.
for what?
Playing the game.
I don't think anyone
Jake.
in here is a surprise but Nick Boy. I've known you all for too long.
That's
So
fair.
that's a hard to answer question.
One is consistently strange.
Yeah, so it's not a surprise. You play Alawi, that's not a surprise.
That's fair.
I also don't expect to be surprised by this draft pulse, because
No.
they are pretty standard as far as teams go.
No, I do not. We're getting into our final game of the day. I can't believe it's game 4 already. I don't like must have some fast games, but Direwolves versus Gravitas. Direwolves slap bang in the middle. They are an inconsistently consistent team.
Yeah.
Um,
When we were doing the awards, so we all had to send into the producers who we thought would win these awards in air quotes. And for most consistent, I wrote nobody. Like the
Okay.
word nobody, because just no one is consistent enough for me right now. Like even the top
Yep.
teams have these moments. Like Mammoth consistently
I
get
put
to
Mammoth.
late game,
Yeah.
but they're not consistent in the early game unless we think consistently losing until this last 2 weeks.
Right, so the way I interpreted it is like how do they play the game and it is that consistent, right? And like
Yeah.
I said Mammoth because they will always get to the late game and then they hit them hard with the team fights, right? But for inconsistent team, definitely Direwolves, 100%. They'll ban away the Olaf, the Azir, and Irelia. First pick the looks actually. And Gravitas going to take with the Karma, Yumi, and Mordekaiser. No Kiana ban.
Yeah, this is a very conscious choice, I would say, from Direwolves. Traditionally, I would say that there is like a square almost in terms of who is strong. It's more like a triangle, and then above the triangle is Karma because she's just the best. But Lux is beaten by Tahm Kench. Tahm Kench is beaten by Yumi, right? And then I don't really know who wins the Yumi Lux. They just fight each other.
Are we in the square or the triangle?
So it's triangle.
Who's the square?
There's just 4 of them in the square, but I'd say it's more like a triangle with Karma on top.
Right.
Like just above them all, because she's just perma-banned.
Right.
So never picked.
Triangle with a line at the top.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Like a Christmas bauble or something.
Because the thing with the square is you have significantly more interactions, because then all of them interact with each other. It's not wrong.
Are you
That's
familiar
why,
with the
that's why
saying,
rock, paper, scissors, you can't have like a 4th thing.
You're familiar with the saying, be there or be square, right?
Yeah, because otherwise we're not around.
Yeah. People don't seem to know or
That
believe
can't
me.
be true. This is something you fed me, and I'm like, it's one of those facts that you tell people which makes sense
No, because if you're
so much that you just believe it.
be
but I
there or
don't think
be
it's true.
square. If you're a square, you're not around. It's just.
But that cannot be the origin of that phrase. Surely not. Someone Google that immediately and tweet at me. Gravitas have picked up the Tahm Kench and the Silas. Direwolves following up their looks with Aatrox and Ezreal. And we are going over to Gravitas for their last pick of their first phase.
This would be,
Ooh.
I would say it's not a surprise, but it is unexpected. And I think the reason that the Ashe is unexpected is because most people in the world tend to believe that Varus is a better Ashe for the services that it provides. So Tahm Kench Ashe has been a standard bot lane for years. You've got a lot of safety to protect what is a low mobility champion in the in the Ashe, keep her alive from all the all-in threats of assassins, whatever it is now. In this case, it's poke from a Lux binding. Now you're saved. You've got good lane control with the volley.
Yep.
But the reason that a lot of people like Varus just a little bit more is your R is a little bit more consistent. You can just throw it while on the same screen and it's not as easy to dodge. You've got Q for poke, which is a little bit more consistent than the W volley because it does more damage when it connects. And then you've got extra damage from the E. So for me, I would say it's a conscious choice of the Ashe because Raid is a very good Ashe player. He always has been. And the Hawkshot's actually really nice for a team that seems to be revolving around their jungler more than anyone else right now. And I would say Parbu and Prayless are the heart of this team for right now in this split, as Hayri's kind of dropped off in terms of his performances lately.
It's true. Yeah, so Ashe. I mean, we used to see Tahm Kench Ashe all the time.
Everywhere.
Yeah, so as a combo, you know, it's not unheard of in League history, but yeah, picked up here.
No, it's more. Yeah, it's more about like Varus versus Ashe, not is Tom Ashe.
Yeah, right.
You know, something unorthodox.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Ashe has always been a pick that will show its face. Obviously, very good with Hawkshot early, changes how junglers will look at the game, how people will think about information.
And the current build is also Essence Reaver Trinity Force, now that Essence Reaver has come back. So you get 40% CDR from 2 items, which is one of the big things that Ashe provides now. Yeah, and then you have a 2.4 second W cooldown and 50 seconds on your ultimate, which is very low and makes it super worth.
Yeah, and you get into situations where Ashe teleports back to the base, chucks out an arrow just down the lane, and then if it hits, then you're stunned for 3.5 seconds. Gangplank and Renekton ban, Akali, Camille from Direwolves, and Yasuo pick up here from Gravitas. Still hovering the ASOL, has been buffed in 9.14. But yeah, we'll be the Yasuo.
And this
here.
is interesting to me. I think, you know, in part, it's taking it away from Direwolves. You know, Get Back and Raze could just pick Gragas Yasuo, call it a day. That's the rest of their team composition, and it would be a super powerful composition to have. So they take it away, 4th pick. Now, they already have the Sylas locked in. Sylas does provide a knock-up, but it's not a big knock-up. You know, it's not a multi-person targeted spell. And so what I'm looking at now is, like, is there even an option for the top side of the map? Is Parbu the type of player that cooks up something spicy like the Malphite to go against the Aatrox, which is unlikely, by the way, but is there something there to make the Yasuo just that little bit more viable? Or is it almost purely to deny from Direwolves having the combo, and Hayri is just renowned for his Yasuo. It's often just banned from him. He's that good at it.
We will see Nico and Lee Sin last bans out here. Also, Lone Corporal's playing today.
Yeah.
Corporal subbed in last week, and this is the 3rd game, I believe, alongside Katsuri. And it will be Corki. Okay. So, I mean, it could be Corki top lane.
Could be. Parbu has played that in the OPL already. Could also be a Yasuo top lane, though I would say that is the least likely. Corki, it was actually spoken about in the interview with Juves last time we saw this matchup, that it's nice into Nico. It's one of those picks, you know, it's a range champion. Nico has a harder time against them, can't harass you fully. You scale better than a Nico scales. When you look at damage output, not so much the team fighting, but package does actually do a lot of work for compensating if you're fighting around package timings, and a smart team will be able to get the package around an objective force. So
makes sense, makes sense. And on the opposite side, it will be Aatrox mid lane playing into the Yasuo, which I don't believe is too bad for the Aatrox, to be honest. But Yasuo is very much as useful as the hands of the player who's piloting the pick. And as you already mentioned, Harry is just one of those people who sometimes people just ban the pick away from because they just don't want to deal with the matchup.
And I would say it's really kind of Raze to offer the Lee Sin kick for Prayless as well. So maybe we add a combo in there from the Sylas when he steals away the kick.
That's true, yeah. I didn't even think about that. Prayless can just steal initiation abilities.
It's just such a good meta as far as champions are concerned to have a Sylas on your team. You know, like against AV, they pick Zillion. You just feel real happy about that. Nico is one of the champions that in solo lanes you would play Sylas into because you have that ultimate, right? You can do the same thing effectively better. So there's a lot of good things that a Sylas can now currently take as League of Legends goes.
All right, well, as we get into the game for our final coach of the day, we have Sharp joining us. How are you doing today?
G'day guys, not bad.
So, first off, I was just scanning through your wiki page, as you do, thinking that you may be coming over here.
Bit of a stalker.
A bit of a stalker, but you know, now that I said it on broadcast, I think it makes it less weird. And I saw that apparently your name got changed to Curtis, but I see on the graphic it says Sharp. So what's that about?
I don't know, just felt like time. You know, I'm getting a bit older. I'm like you, Rusty. We've been around for a while. You've kept your name.
I
Rusty.
have, but I dropped the second half of it so we don't speak about Curtis.
For those who
changed very early on, to be fair.
Yeah, I know. I just felt as though it was time for me to move because I'm more of a coach now. I feel like for me, the game, it's more of a gamer name as a player. I felt like it was time for me to just move into, just keep it as Curtis.
So that should be changed to Curtis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. Thank
No
you.
big deal.
Make it happen. Yeah, so let's talk about the drafts right here. How do you think it went for you guys?
I think that it was... I mean, Gravitas, I think they are playing to their strengths. They've been known to play a lot of Yasuo. Pabu's pulled out the Corki top before. And Prayless, pretty sure he's been seen on the Sylas. So nothing too surprising. And actually, it's interesting because Raid's like one of the old school Ashe players. He's one of the few Ashe players in the OPL. So it'd be interesting to see him pull that out today. And on our side, again, we've just got a lot of comfort across the board. So overall, pretty happy.
So just generally a comfortable draft for both teams.
Yeah, I don't
is
think
the
there's
outlook of
anything
this
too
one.
surprising here. I mean, for the outsiders, maybe this corky top looks a bit strange, but he's like pulled it out before, so it is strange, but like people know of it, so it's not a big deal.
And let's talk about mood in the camp as well for Dials. You know, guys are 5-5, so obviously a good increase from the last split. How is it really feeling mood-wise within the team now that we're in the middle of the split and things start to become, you know, more of just a grind?
Well, yeah. The thing is, hasn't really felt like a grind for us because every win's so important for every team. Like today, I think the Order win was really big for them. Even the win for Bombers was really big, and that puts the pressure on us. We really got to perform now. If we start dropping these games, then it's going to be really hard for us to make top gauntlet even. Oof. So I mean, every game for us. So we haven't really felt like it's been a grind. Every week's been really important. I think that our gameplay's kind of shown that across a few weeks as well.
And you're approaching it 1 week at a time now? You know, you come into the OPL, you sit down on Monday, you're like, these are the teams we're playing, let's approach it, or is there still some scope there for you guys as Dials?
I think we've kind of found out what type of team and how we want to play. I think it's less about that now. I think it's more about just preparing for each opponent. Yeah. Which for the first few weeks, we're just kind of trying to figure out how we want to play the game.
But yeah, coming into the second half, you feel like you've found your groove and you know what you want to be doing.
Yeah, I think we found our identity as a team now. I think it's just executing on that from now on.
All right, perfect. Well, thanks for joining us. Thank you so much for your time, and best luck in the game.
Thanks, guys.
We've also had an amazing consistency in the answers regarding identities, which I think
Right.
is super cool now. Pretty much every coach day has come in and we've all unanimously thought we know what our own identities are. It's about just playing League of Legends better to ourselves. It's Ray's in trouble.
Or everybody's getting involved in this. This is just level 3. Raze drops to start this one off. Corporal will follow. Double kill comes in for the Silas. Get back, trying to move towards the mid lane now, but should be able to get away with this one. But still, 3 kills to start this game for Gravitas.
Yeah, and I have to start this off by saying I commend Sharp and his ability to just casually continue to speak through the conversation while his mid laner was dying at level 1, right? So
solo kill.
And now it's 3-0. So really tragic is the start here for Direwolves. And, you know, you look at this. Harry, on one of his signature picks, it's been mentioned by Curtis as well. You know, Raid got his Ash, and it is a big deal for these players to have consistency for them. And now they're 3-0, hunting for more, but Direwolves back.
Oh, Prayless getting nuked down here. Big shutdown comes through for the mid laner of Direwolves. That'll be 450 gold in the bank for him. So Direwolves are firing back.
There's no time to breathe or even think in this game compared to the last one, but Get Back getting the kill, so important for the state of the map. That was 2 kills on Prayless, who now gets to shop and spend a lot of money, but it's the doubles gone. It's the doubles given to Get Back. It's money given to Get Back against the 1-0-2 Yasuo. Laning phase is now easier. As a result of that, they will not struggle as much through something like mid-priority at only 4 minutes into the game, as they're coming back again.
Coming in for round 2. We'll line up the shot, but here comes Prayless once again. Both of the junglers reading from the same hymn sheet here. Hayru will get the kill onto Raze. Get back, trying to get back behind the tower. And another kill to Gravitas.
The cheeky reset.
Yeah.
Mid lane's just a gladiatorial pit right now. Everyone's welcome to come in and have a crack. Gravitas with the teleports, of course, are still the ones who come out. Just a little bit more on top. Because Hayri's played a dangerous bit.
Because Prayless is here as well with Decoy. Round 3, folks. Decoy's going to grab Prayless, cancel the aggro, throw him back to safety, and kill Get Back. Now, we've been playing musical chairs with the double buffs, by the way.
Katsuri's mid.
So who has the double buffs now? Prayless? Prayless. I think it's going back to Prayless.
Prayless has gotten his doubles back. It has to be. He just got the kill with, he does. It was with the challenging smite, I think, as well on the backside. There might have been, you know, maybe 1 or 2 ranged minions that I didn't see that might have done it. Let me tell you, ranged minions do a surprising amount of damage 5 minutes in.
100%. All of these fights have happened like level 3, level 4, level 5. Nobody has ultimates yet. And you also see it's been mid-lane rotations as well. All 5 kills have happened around Hayri.
Yeah, and top lane's been isolated, which is brilliant for top lane.
What's a top lane?
That's what the Corki wants. Yeah, you wouldn't know. You don't play that lane as your main. And bot side, you know, Nash, Tom, Kench, they're using their resources to help mid lane. But because it's working, then the team's just working perfectly here for Gravitas, you know, so far in this game. And unfortunately for the Direwolves, while they've gotten kills, and, you know, Raze understands the state of the game and mid's now priority number 1, that kind of plays into the hands of Gravitas with how this game has started and how they want it to play out.
Right, and it almost feels like the worst case scenario when it's like, okay, well, you know, signature pick comes through.
I mean, look at Get Back.
Yasuo.
He's going to have to
2-0-3.
zone himself because of experience. Like, this mid lane, not cool. Just not a cool man situation.
I
And
don't
that
believe
wave's pushing.
Harry's gone back since a lot of that gold influx as well, so he's probably sitting on a good amount.
I think he got
Though he has picked up
Berserkers. No, he got
Berserkers and
Berserkers.
double
Yeah.
Dorans, yeah, so
It might have just surprised you with how quick he came back to lane because he's got the boots.
that's fair. Either way, Yasuo, very big. Prayless moving on to Dragon here. Should pretty much be able to take it. I mean, bottom's pushing, mid is...
It'll hurt.
It'll hurt, but mid lane cannot move at all.
7-minute
decoy.
Ocean Dragon. You'd be
Will come up.
laughing.
Yeah, this is like worst case scenario. Ocean Dragon to start when it's been very much lane focused.
And you know, a lot of people will benefit from an Ocean Dragon this early into the game, and we'll see just how meaningful it can become as Gravitas are not going to sit around and let their health restore. They're going to look at bottom lane as a potential dive. Raid is 6. Keep your eyes on the arrow. No cleanse.
Ooh, hits Corporal, just the edge of the hitbox right there, and he's just 100% dead. Hayri rotating from the mid lane. Yet another kill for the Yasuo.
And that Yasuo is just clean from Hayri, isn't it? Ray's now looking topside, flashes on.
Flash gets the bind, Dragon's Rage into the ult. It's so clean right now from the Direwolves. Follows up with a resonating strike, and yet another kill in the top lane, this time to the Direwolves.
And you have to credit them for that. The trade back on the other side of the map is perfect from Direwolves. The execution, brilliant as well. You know, Biopanther, Rays, two of the players that we've been looking at as not rising stars, but really finding their form at the correct time here in the OPL. It's the rest of the map where things are just terrifying, honestly, for them to deal with.
Yeah. Yasuo goes back. Had one dagger, turned that into a zeal. And yeah, I mean, how do you deal with this as Aatrox? You just basically sit at your tower and you take the table scraps and anything that you can right now. Because the Yasuo in lane, yeah, almost one-shotting the back wave. Cool.
So I'm sure that everyone at home understands how Yasuo works. If you don't play solo queue and you're just a viewer, then what you should know is that Yasuo is fragile. And most people think they're tanky because they have a win wall. But a champion like Aatrox, if he's got jungle pressure, can still one-hit Yasuo. You know, the build is very, very fragile. You only go for damage or attack speed, primarily with crit in it. But you can be killed. But note at this point that if they look, there is no ultimate available for the Lee Sin, so it's not ideal.
Windwall comes up and in comes Pabu from the top side. Get back, separated from his jungler. Minions in the way, Windwall in the way. Lee Sin had no way into that fight. And it will be yet another kill. I find myself saying this over and over again for the Yasuo.
The Tahm Kench coming in as well. They're hunting for Corporal. Didn't find him, but the continuation of the hunt was on. And I'll be honest with you, Pulse. I don't like to be mean on broadcast, but as a coach, I can tell you that going for that play in mid was just objectively bad, and they should not be hunting for that when Lee Sin has no ultimate, Corki has package and is missing in topside river. You know that the things are just like, you know, everything's stacking up against you, but you're choosing to look for it anyway. There's never a good situation to find yourself in, as they are just being a menace down here in the bot lane.
Yeah, feels like a bit of overflow right here. Gravitas looking for yet another dive, but Raze is here. Wow, that was actually a surprising amount of damage from that volley. And yeah, mid lane just pushing up. Jungler's also here. Saj just saying hello. Like, anytime you're ever thinking of anything happening to this Yasuo, remember, I am here. And I'm also very big. He's already picked up the first upgrade, moving on to onto Shelly. And if I'm Raze, I probably don't want to try and contest this.
They look like they're aware, and the pings are coming. They're saying they're on their way. There is a chance they actually do contest this. They play the numbers game, but Nico's not available. No teleport. They have to concede. It's just perhaps a steal attempt that he was looking for there, and they're too late anyway.
Perhaps. But that's so scary. Even getting within smite range against this is not great, especially when the Ashe could stack up on the Rift
Herald. This makes me feel like they're about to dive with an Ashe flanking.
Razor's here. I think he's aware that something potentially could be up. But Silas is here with
the summon. Ashe
the
Herald
Herald onto the Lee Sin. He was just trying to help the mid lane and get back. Well, he did manage to succeed in his objective. The Aatrox is alive, but the mid tower is dead here. It's 11 minutes and mid lane tower's down.
We're 11. Yeah, you're right. We're 11 minutes in. This is absolute spanking so far. Mid lane outer turret falls at 11 minutes. That's one of the least likely turrets to see go down this early. Good Herald play from Gravitas. Again, good map movements and just aggressive, not stopping, just constantly moving to their own beat and just forcing Direwolves to move around the Rift. They're playing very strong League of Legends here, and they're besting their opponents handedly right now.
just no break in tempo. You know, there's no hiccup at all. And Gravitas in such a good place. And if you think about this, this is the team with a 20% win rate right now. Coming into this game, looking so clean. And I mean, it's been centered around this Yasuo. Still has 100% kill participation. Harry has been killing it this game. Picked up the static shiv as well.
He's big. There's a reason you don't give him Yasuo. You know, in the first split of the OPL, it was pretty much permaban from him at all times. So scary to see it given to him. But then when he goes 5-0-3, I think things only get scarier. You know, you play against the Yasuo main, they get a kill. You're upset. Because you know it's just coming to affect you on a side lane, or it's just going to make everything in the game stay worse. I'm going to have to deal with this at some point. A 11-minute turret taken in mid lane means that he's free. You know, like he could go to side lanes whenever he wants now, because the defense of mid lane is just so much harder, and it's a deeper defense from someone like Get Back. Doesn't even have teleport, you know? So constantly now, if you are the Nico, or if you are the Ezreal and the Lux, you're terrified when he's gone. He's going to push a wave, he's going to dip into Fog of War, and he may not even leave his lane, but you have to, because he could be there.
Now, if you're not just Direwolves, but any team, and you see on the enemy side a 5-0-3 Yasuo, what is the correct play from, like, anyone's position?
I mean, option one is kill the Yasuo. You don't want to try and, like, force a play where they'll be there, though, to match the 5v5. Right. So I think it is try and control some side lanes in one way or another and collapse from side lane pressure when your opponents respond. But realistically, yeah, he's got a 500 gold shutdown. He's worth 800 gold for a single kill right now. You need to shut him down to have a chance in this game. And then if he goes to side lanes, you can try and force somewhere else because he's not running teleport.
Yeah, it's a lot of gold in a different place on the map. Gravitas will basically trade towers top for bottom. Get the resources down here.
The thing actually that isn't too bad in this game is it's not a Yasuo comp, so to speak. It's just a strong Yasuo.
Yeah.
If this was something like, you know, things that Gravitas have done in the past, say like an Ornn top lane to set up the Yasuo, it's just like a global engage tool, it'd be hard. If it was a Gragas ultimate that can hit you and hit multiple targets for an AoE wombo, really difficult game. But this time around, you're looking at what do they actually have, and it's a Sylas knockup, or the Yasuo doing it himself. So it is reliant on really clean play from the individuals here of Gravitas to make the Fed member have the most optimal fight. So there is actually a chance that you can kill him as skirmishes happen.
Well, I really want to see, now that you said it in Champion Select, I want to see Sylas steal Lee Sin's ultimate and then kick someone into just the whole team into a Yasuo knockup. It would be lit. Like, that is the dream. That's very situational. They just line up, that would be fantastic.
What other ults do you think he steals? I guess Aatrox ult
in
is
this game. Aatrox ult?
Yeah. Ezreal, Lux, Nico all very good. I think Nico will be his teamfight ult, but because Biopanther's a teleporting member, maybe it is the Lee Sin that he steals.
Yeah. I mean, the bottom lane is you basically just grab if you can, and then you just chuck him out. And clear a wave, bit of harass. There you go. Just got the Lux ult.
I think, yeah,
I'll take that with me.
Level 11, he may start stealing more aggressively. Level 16, he will steal Ezreal Lux ults just for the sake of poke, and then maybe Lee Sin Nico for the engages. It's a good day. Like we said in Champs, like, it's just a great time to be a Sylas. Yeah. The champions that are running around in the
Actually,
meta.
just Sylas, to be honest, today has had a great time. There was zillion ultimates on the enemy team.
That's true.
It's like, yeah, I'll take that.
Even Karma. You know, one of the best things to steal is Karma, and not many people would, like, hear that and be like, oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But yeah, getting a free mantra proc as an AP champion, you just walk in and shield people for 1 million. Or you just nuke them with your Q.
Yeah, it's not a bad time. Pabu was sneaking into the bottom brushes, get back at half
Get
health.
in trouble.
Walks right into the full combo, tries to get away, Infernal Chains, it's not enough, and the big one finishes them off. Raze, this is the Q, looking for the kick against the wall, but doesn't have the execute damage now. He's trying to trade off with auto attacks. Kicks him against the wall, has the Q back, managed to find the execute. Ash Arrow, oof, instantly cleansed out from Corporal though. Well played, but now the mid lane tower under siege, one more minion left. But yeah, that bottom lane trade, very intense.
Yeah, that was really well done from Raze, of course. Thought he hit the Q, so ward hopped forwards to try and hit the max damage combo, but Pabu had used everything to secure the kill in the way of mobility, and was legitimately standing still, by the way. So I think that's where Raze juked himself a bit. The second Pabu moved. He was like, what are you doing? But got the 1v1 Conqueror, actually the biggest deal in that trade to secure it. Knew that he had the sustained damage to output and take him down.
Yeah, unfortunate for the Corki. Basically out of rockets as well. I believe he only had one left back going into the Lee Sin trade. So yeah, that is... Dial was getting a kill back, which is nice, but 3-9. And when the top laner, who's been basically just sitting in a lane and still able to take out the mid laner, which, to be fair, is having a very rough time of it, and has still managed to keep relative pace in terms of CS, has been soaking up rather well, 1-2-5.
Doing the best he can given the circumstances.
Yeah.
Give him that.
Best of a bad situation.
And I really think that Raze has been playing, a losing game of League of Legends very well. He's been able to trade towers on the top side of the map. He was trying to get back in the mid lane, and he was a part of where it really went downhill fast, but he's done a lot of good things to try and get them back into this game, considering how bad it started.
I mean, that kind of just feels like Lee Sin as a champion, right? Like, you're never going to do, like, this is the set play is Lee Sin. Like, there's always going to be playmaking, and it will go one way or another and down to execution. But right now, Gravitas in a very good position for themselves. 17 minutes into this game. Yeah, about 3 minutes until Baron, which probably going to be a little longer until we can get to that point where people are taking it. But the Yasuo now on 2 items. He's picked up the Sterex. So we're talking about tankiness, and he's basically just got that now. From here, I just suspect more damage.
Yeah, not just more damage, more team fighting capabilities from Gravitas as well, as he gets to 100% crit with most likely his next item. He's going to be a powerhouse. That is a double teleport. They want him.
Down the Yasuo, goes into the Sterex proc. Praelis is here as well, follow through with the arrow, raise over the wall. He really wants to finish off this Yasuo. B flashes away, he's getting lifesteal, get back. Finally puts him down. Raid flashes the wall as Decoy still chasing down the mid laner. Grabs him up and Biopanther finished off. Corporal throws out the Q, doesn't quite tag the Ashe, who is now just trading down onto the support. Get back, gets finished off, and Gravitas looking to sweep the rest of the fight. Here comes Decoy.
No one went with
and he's
Decoy.
got him. Flashes the wall, and he might be able to just finish this off by himself. Finds the Devour and hands it right over to Praelis. A 5-for-1.
And it looks like both Pabu and Raid said, no, you take the Tahm Kench ultimate. None of them go, so he has to flash the wall. But they get the kills. They get the tower afterwards. No Baron, unfortunately, for them, as it's an 18-minute skirmish. Direwolves do what we expect of them, right? They get the shutdown kill. They try and force onto Hayri. But because everybody is there, the answer from Gravitas is available. And Hayri lives for a significant amount of time. It requires a flash kick into an Aatrox Q to really lock him down. The Ignite does the rest of it. And also note that Raze lives for a very long time in a pretty funny 1v1 against Praelis. But the fight's already over during this point in time. Raid's done all the damage that is needed of him. Good little moves coming out of him. And they lock down everybody else. Team fight complete wash for them. No one did.
Yeah, Decoy, though, lands the tongue, and that's pretty much all you need from here. Able to finish off the rest of that kill. Gobble him up, and here you go. Praelis is a present.
I hope you counted down there as well.
Yeah. There we go. And Gravitas, a 5-for-1. So many resources being committed just to try and kill the Yasuo. I mean, credit to Hayri, played it perfectly. The flash was great for all the time in the world. And after all of that, now Direwolves in, honestly, a very dire situation. Gravitas are picking up everything on the board. Baron's about to spawn. That was the third dragon for them. Another cloud on the horizon.
Yeah, it really felt like that was the moment for Direwolves, And I think getting that influx of gold was nice to have, but I don't think it'll make the difference as they're in trouble.
From downtown. Praelis there to receive. Decoy will collect the kill. Corporal tried to ult, just put down by Hayri. 2 more kills going over to Gravitas.
And you know what is up
as
now?
The Baron spawns.
Yeah, just as Baron spawns, and it's a Yasuo and an Ashe with Blade of the Ruined King. So the DPS is actually very high. At 20 minutes on the dot, they will be able to kill the Baron. Direwolves should know this. They see that it's at 7,000 health. The Lee Sin is alive, and he is in the area.
Decoy playing goalie.
A steal is
He's
needed.
getting over the wall. Praelis, yeah, throws down the ward right here, not dropping it within range, and Raze will go right into the fray here. Drops the stopwatch, but get back, trading off with Pabu in a 1 versus 3. That's a big amount of damage as he looks for the resurrect. Gravitas have to back away from this one. The Aatrox pulling off a clutch fight.
Yeah, they choose to completely disengage. It felt like Decoy is making the call, saying, all right, guys, I will keep him away. I will keep them busy, not let them steal. But then he just gets chunked. Dyer was very consciously choosing to turn and fight and kill the Tahm Kench. But Gravitas didn't want to finish the Baron either. They didn't want to take the risk. What if the Lee Sin steals it now that we've lost a member as well? Do we lose the fight if we overstay? So they choose to turn, maybe take the fight, or disengage at the worst. And it's a full reset forced out of them.
I mean, frankly, that would have been game-ending if Gravitas had just picked up the Baron there, so the contest was pretty good.
The last thing you want to do is give the Baron to the Direwolves as well with the lead that they already have, right? So it's a respectable decision coming out of Gravitas.
And yeah, that's the flash into Q3 there from Get Back was quite significant. I saw the clip the other day on your Twitter of the Aatrox and TFT just smacking 4 people. Gave me flashbacks to that.
That's what we like to see.
Yeah, Aatrox can hit real hard in both game modes, I will say.
We also have a support Ashe in this game.
Yeah, 0-0-11. Having the best time in the world. I remember when support Ashe was an actual thing.
He's really having a good time, Mr. Broccoli.
And I mean, he's fine. He's 2.5 items. He's putting out that consistent DPS. I'm sure if you brought up the
Yeah,
damage
I
charts,
mean-
he'd be like, Ashe is doing pretty well in this game.
By kill distribution, I don't think an Ashe Tahm Kench lane would really have it any other way.
Oh. I feel like Corporal has been on the receiving end of many Ashe arrows this game.
He can't get cleanse anymore. His unsealed
Yeah.
spellbook had 1 charge in it, so now he's going to have to switch summoners constantly to get back to it. Which means in the meantime, he is a prime target to be plucked out.
Also, Arcane shifting out of the way of an Ashe arrow trajectory is still very risky because there's a little bit of charge up, and if you get hit by it, you're still stunned on the other side.
Like a Triss jump.
Yeah, like a Triss jump.
Don't do
being
it.
queued. Oh, full Lee syndrome right here. Kicks him into the enemy team. Get out of here. Get back will find Decoy, hit him with the Infernal Chains, but Lee Sin jumps all the way in. Tahm Kench with the save, and once again, Raze trying to get into the fight, but Pablo on the bottom side is collapsing in. Looking for one, gets the second, and it's a complete massacre here in the mid lane. Raze, he's trying to get back to the minions. Will get in range. Abyssal Void has been cancelled. And 4-4-0. Gravitas not even breaking a sweat.
And that felt like desperation from Direwolves for sure. They see the queue. Raze just says, all right, we're going to try and take this. If he's by himself, fantastic, we get a pick. If he's not by himself, scream wildly, kick them away, and then they just continue to look for it, maybe hunting. Is this the fight? Is this a chance? We've chunked them. And then Gravitas collapse, and that's lights out for the side of Direwolves. Baron secured. You would expect with this Baron buff, it will be the game. But we'll see this fight again first, as it is just very clearly the kick away. Raze then, to me, that signals a disengage, but Get Back is also well and truly in. And then they hit a Lux Binding, and maybe they second-guess themselves again and say, can we fight? By the time all of this has happened, Hayri has collapsed, Raid is dealing good DPS, and Pabu has collapsed from the bot side. So the full wrap, the full stretch around there from all of Gravitas, just an easy team fight cleanup.
I feel like the biggest question is, should Lee Sin have clicked Q again? Probably not. Decoy, caught in the chains.
Which time is the question?
Let's say the second one.
Second one?
Yeah, yeah. Q1's fine, right? You scout him out. You
No,
got
I mean,
vision.
he followed Q more than once in that fight.
Oh, right.
I was worried about all of them.
Yeah, that's fair. But I think once you commit to the first one, you commit to the second.
Yeah, Lee Sin is a state of mind.
It is.
It is not a champ, it is a state
It's
of
also a
mind.
test of willpower, I think.
As Alawi is a test of spirit.
It's a test of spirit. That's, I'm always surprised when colorcasters come up with the name of actual abilities, because it's just QWER.
I just choose not to, Paul. Just choose not to.
That's fair, Rusty. Do you know Orkiana's?
Not at
Names.
all.
The arrow. Ooh. Good
That
flash
was
from
close.
Corporal.
I know the ult is a supreme display of talent or something.
It is, yeah.
The rest of them
I think
is
it's slightly different. It's like, yeah. But I think it's
Q
display
is
of talent.
Q is your
Supreme display
boomerang.
of talent. Yep.
W is the element that you pick.
It's like Edge of Ixtal or something.
Yeah, that works.
Oh,
So
Raze.
I don't know.
Found Pabu. This is everything being thrown at the Corki. And the rest of the team's like, you're just going to cop that because we're going to take the mid lane inhibitor turret into the inhibitor itself. Losing one. The fact is 4 versus 5. Either they pull off this fight or they just back away and are happy with their prize. Maybe look towards the bottom side.
Yeah, they're laughing here, Gravitas. Of course, 1,000 gold bounty goes
no.
over. They have now chosen a bush as this is their bush. But Direwolves have wards elsewhere.
Images taken before disaster. Raze hops the wall. And Gravitas backing away. They hit the blast cone.
Yeah.
And they're good.
And you can see the ward that they just crossed through as well. Direwolves having a feeling that they're still in the area or they're recalled. So Lee Sin will throw a Q, say there they are, and run away, screaming wildly, ideally. They have a lot of
Ideally.
kill rate.
Preferably not on comms. There comms, guys.
I don't know. Midu does scream wildly sometimes.
I just need a reel of Miru screaming words he doesn't know yet. And Raid taken down the 3rd Cloud Dragon. There's a lot of movement speed. And Infernal will be the last one. Gravitas basically just setting up on the bottom side. Tam Kench, when you're at a stage in the game when you can be 700 units away from the rest of the team leading the charge, and you are absolutely A-okay.
Also, I have a feeling he could 1v1 most people now in the game besides Raze and maybe get back. You know, like he's just got that much kill throw. When a Tam Kench gets health and scales up, there's
Arrows onto Corporal. I mean, what do you do as a 0-5 Flux? Die again to 0-6. Ooh, Pabu, 1 versus 2, still killed Biopanther. I mean, as Corky's just got so much damage. Resource commit top side. I mean, Katsuri is doing a lot of damage, but I don't know if he can do enough here as 2 inhibitors are down. And Gravitas saying,
like
you know what? I'm going to play this slow. I'm going to confirm this victory outright.
One limited time. There is only 1 inhibitor remaining for them, so top lane will be where they want to establish themselves now. Don't be shocked to see a full reset from Gravitas. Hopefully a bunch of control wards purchased, and then just planting their feet to the enemy blue jungle.
Yasuo is 5,000 gold over his lane opponent.
That's a big mood.
Not bad. He's Hey Horizon. Hey Horizon. Got him. Raid, yet to get a kill. Or a death. 0-0-15, 11 life.
He's living his best support life as far as AD carries go. Hopefully he finds himself one in the last fight. We'll have to keep our eyes peeled towards that.
The problem is there's no burst damage from Ashe. She's basically just a standing dot. Like
This build does
build.
have a lot of damage though.
It has a lot of damage, but it all comes in over time, right?
If he gets the Q off with the Hurricane, however, and the Infinity Edge crit,
That's true.
I have a feeling. I reckon he'll get 1.
It's just a stream of damage though, and then Yasuo's just like
Yes.
chunk, chunk, chunk.
Yeah. He may consciously try and steal 1 then. That's what I would do if I was 0-0-15.
Yeah. No, I'm definitely into that. Because the thing with volley is it doesn't really interrupt your flow of damage. The Direwolves on the retreat here, clearing out these minion waves.
They've got a decent amount of gold off of the kills onto Pabu as well. He no longer has a shutdown. But I worry that most of the money has been going to the pockets of the Lee Sin still, who becomes less and less relevant as the game progresses. You know, at a certain point, Lee Sin is just there to hit 1 kick and die. But the kick's meant to be impactful, so the rest of them aren't really needing that gold. And if you're Gravitas, you just sit here, you throw arrows at Corporal every time it's available. He doesn't even have flash anymore, he's running heal and exhaust. And just try and poke him down and threaten the all-in with Ash arrows.
And Windwall, what a tool. Step up to the tower, Windwall away. Still, Direwolves have enough in the tank here just to be threatening up to this last tower, but
Someone could make a cover song about Wonderwall as Windwall.
you know what? I feel like that must already exist.
It has to.
It's got to. And if it doesn't, 5 videos just got uploaded to YouTube immediately. There's a Gravitas turned on towards the Baron. Did you play the guitar listen?
No, I don't.
That could have been you. You could have made millions.
I can only play 1 instrument pulse, and that is the recorder. But I could play the recorder very well as a part of my primary teaching
Weren't
degree.
you a crayon? Well, was that a different time?
That was the xylophone.
That was the xylophone. I get confused.
I could play Jason Derulo Wiggle on the xylophone. That is the only other thing that I could do with instruments.
That's a party trick right there. That was a big recall. I believe Baron just went down. And this will probably be it here. The last defense, last bastion of hope right here for Direwolves. You know, a team who is exactly 50% win rate in the league currently, and Gravitas 20% win rate. But I think, as we've said, it inconsistently consistent or consistently one of those ways around. Direwolves, they would be the team to drop the game here.
Which I think if you were Bombers, you'd be shaking in your boots at this, as they always go 1-1. Gravitas pushing in.
There it is, the engage out from the Yasuo. A lot of damage in return from the Ezreal, but he's unable to really get back and do any damage at all. Biopanther with the flank finds 1, looking towards the second, but the rest of the team is already dead. And that will be a 5-for-1. And unfortunately, the Ashe will die, but will get her first kill of the game. 30 minutes in, final game of the night, and Gravitas, they will find a win here against the Direwolves.
A strong, consistent early game from Gravitas this time around is exactly what the doctor ordered for them. They get the Heiri Yasuo, something that's been banned from him a lot. They have the Silas combo as well, and I mean, honestly, they just tear through Summoner's Rift in what felt like a glorified ARAM in mid lane for the first 5 minutes, but it works, and it was very well executed from them. Teleports coming in from bottom laners. Tam Kench is there as well to devour allies as they dive.
Yep.
And, you know, through the early leads, they got snowballed it to bot lane. They won the entire map, not just mid lane. And it seemed like, honestly, it was just a very good and in-control game of League coming out of Gravitas, where Direwolves really struggled to have the answers, and it felt like they never had the answers available besides kill Pabu, who was just the side laner to get the shutdowns, and they couldn't do anything past that.
And it was a rough game. You know, the Yasuo are getting that first kill and just snowballing out of control. It was like 10 minutes and Yasuo has 5 kills and picked up his first item. It's just like, okay, you know, we spoke about that coming into Champions League. It's a Hayri champion. He gets it and then was able to pop off from the pick, you know, and it was great. Opening up the gates there from Gravitas. We'll see the game slowed down a lot, but I feel like if you're in a position where Gravitas are in the table at the same time, you kind of want to like play slowly. You don't want to just go like balls to walls and then just lose a team fight and then enemy team gets Baron, right? Like that swaps around very easily. So it was like take a kill, take the tower, take the inhibitor, back away.
Yeah, and for me this is a really exciting game because Gravitas beating Direwolves makes you wonder. You know, we spoke about this before the day. There's a top 6. Well, is there a top 6 now is one of those questions that you have when Gravitas can so handedly beat a team like Direwolves, who seem to have been improving pretty constantly.
Yeah, well, that's all the game's done for today. For now, we're going to head over to the player interview.
An excellent question, Rusty. There's only one man who can answer it. Pabu, is there a top 6?
Well, I mean, we had a really rough start to the split, but I definitely think coming into the back end of it, I wouldn't say there's a top 6. Like, I think we can definitely compete. We've had some really good early games versus teams, but we just like failed to translate. So if we show up some of the issues, I see there's no reason we can't go for Gauntlet.
And this was a game that you guys kind of had to win. What have you been doing during the week to prepare for this one?
Well, I mean, I don't know. The last couple of weeks have been pretty good for us, but like also pretty awful. Our practice has been kind of lackluster, but we still managed to pull out some good early games like on stage. So we just had to really focus on our like 15-minute transition period, and it definitely has gotten a lot better over the past couple of days.
So what you're saying is you need someone of a league caliber to play with shortly that is going to help you elevate your game to the next level.
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing I'm hearing from you right now.
Definitely.
You need a ringer coach, some sort of Nick Boy type figure to come in and help shepherd this team into what they can be.
A little bit of leadership wouldn't help, you know?
A little bit of leadership wouldn't hurt at all, which is why you are going to be one of the first players joining us for the MPL.
I'm pretty excited.
Are you excited?
Oh, hell yeah, dude. Like,
We've decided to do ARAMs.
Yeah?
Because we figured you've just finished a Summoner's Rift game. You don't need more of that in your life. So let's do some hecticness.
Yeah.
And you can help carry me in the same way that Bryce has the entire time that we've been playing with special portals and whatnot.
you think I'm the carry?
Well, in ARAM, anything could happen. Like, I'm certainly not the carry.
Oh, I had high hopes for the leader of us, so, you know.
No, I'm a support player. I'm calling the shots
fair
from
enough.
the back line. But I'm excited for you to be joining us. So please, stick around out there. Don't go anywhere. Find me at Maxibon, and we'll be back after this.
He's going to be a powerhouse. That is a double teleport.
They want him. Down the Yasuo, goes into the Sterix proc. Praelis is here as well, follow through with the arrow, raise over the wall. He really wants to finish off this Yasuo. B flashes away, he's getting lifesteal, get back, finally puts him down. Raid flashes the wall as Decoy still chasing down the mid laner, grabs him up and Biopanther finished off. Corporal throws out the Q, doesn't quite tag the Ashe, who is now just trading down onto the support. Get back, gets finished off, and Gravitas looking to sweep the rest of the fight. Here comes Decoy.
No one went with
He's
Decoy.
got him. Flashes the wall, and he might be able to just finish this off by himself. Finds the Devour and hands it right over to Praelis. A 5-for-1.
Don't do it.
Queued. Oh, full Lee syndrome right here. Kicks him into the enemy team. Get out of here. Get back will find Decoy. Hit him with the Infernal Chains, but Lee Sin jumps all the way in. Tam Kench with the save, and once again, Raze trying to get into the fight, but Parber on the bottom side is collapsing in. Looking for one, gets the second, and it's a complete massacre here in the mid lane. Raze, he's trying to get back to the minions. Worgen, range, Abyssal Void has been cancelled.
And if you're bombers, you'd be shaking in your boots at this as they always go 1-on-1. Gravitas pushing in.
There it is, the engage out from the Yasuo. Lockdown to return from the Ezreal, but he's unable to really get back and do any damage at all. Biopanther with the flank finds one, looking towards the second, but the rest of the team is already dead. And that will be a 5-for-1. And unfortunately, Ash will die, but will get her first kill of the game. 30 minutes in, final game of the night, and Gravitas, they will find a win here against the Direwolves.
A strong, consistent early game from Gravitas this time around is exactly what the doctor ordered for them.
At Macca's, our burgers are now hotter, juicier, and tastier, with onions added at the grill for more flavour, perfectly melted cheese, and softer buns. They're the best Macca's burgers ever.
He stuck around. He did it. What a hero.
I wish we were live when Jake's going, oh, doggy massage. I wish that was...
Well, I feel like
That didn't happen.
we captured some of it just then, so I'm appreciative for the replay. That is it for the professional games of League of Legends tonight. Of course, we have the MPL coming up, the very unprofessional ARAM games, which will be participated a combination of pro players and casters. So that should be an exciting evening. As I mentioned before, Pabu is joining us, and also Praelis. So it'll be you,
The Gravy Boys.
Jake, Pulse, myself, Pabu, and Praelis. The 3 Ps, and then whatever we are. A reminder, budget cosplay. We're going to be doing that next week. Next Saturday is when we want to be judging your budget cosplays as cheap as humanly possible. Make them yourself. Send in a picture to the OPL Twitter or Facebook or Instagram. There will be posts all over there all week, so just reply to those. DM your pictures. Get them to us however you want. Send them to me. And I'm excited to be able to start judging that stuff. Jake is not excited. That's all part of the fun. But results from today. Let's get them up, because it was a surprising day. Avant cannot face Order. Order take them down in game number 1. Chiefs lose to Bombers in game number 2. Another surprise, Mammoth versus Legacy for game 3. And then finally, Gravitas beating out Direwolves in an important game, game number 4. How did we feel about that last game? I feel like we spoke a bit about Gravitas, we spoke a bit about Pabu and the potential, and they seem to flourish.
Yeah, I think everything that we talked about, kind of happened. This game was good news by just getting a win on the board, yes, but in the fashion that they did it, Harry Kang, mid laner Yasuo, absolutely popped off. The bottom side as well, Raid has been a very long time Ashe player. The new build coming out obviously doesn't like that one, still went for the Bork and the Runans, but you know what I mean? That was an Ashe game if there ever was one. And yeah, everything that Gravitas needed happened in this game here versus Direwolves.
And gave himself a comp with multiple win conditions for kind of the first time in a while, I think. Genuine 1-3-1 threat there. Mixed damage top side of the map because you have Yasuo as well as a Corki. Then you have Tarmkench to be able to attack the side lanes. But you also have some really good team fighters in there. So I thought that this was one of those games that kind of Gravitas weren't on a clock for one of the first times, because their comp just got better the longer the game went. And that's a great feeling as a player when you're up at 15 minutes and you still win at 40. You got so much margin for error to be able to close out that game at that point. Thank you.
Let's see if they can pull it off tomorrow, because we'll have another day of League of Legends actions for you. Mammoth versus Avant, game number 1. The Chiefs take on Order, game number 2. Direwolves versus Bombers for game 3. And Gravitas up against Legacy for game number 4. Bryce, Bombers versus Direwolves and Mammoth versus AV, there's a little more at stake here.
Yeah, interesting. Of course, we're in the second round robin, but AV have the head-to-head over Mammoth in the upset that started the season off very early there, and then in the same way, Direwolves got the victory over Bombers. So, head-to-heads are something certainly worth fighting for. If they can get the victories, then it's just insurmountable, you know what I mean? And these are teams that are fairly even on the ladder right now. If we, had this same trajectory going into the back end of the split, then very meaningful.
Absolutely. Well, the head-to-heads, the League of Legends OS action could not be possible without our lovely sponsors. They, of course, are McDonald's, the official partner of the OPL. We've got M-Wave, the official retailer of the OPL. HyperX, the official headset of the OPL. And Bailey, the official good boy of the OPL. I feel like Bailey he's always well-behaved. He's never a bad dog, right? He wanders around, but he's
definitely
not a bad
a diva.
dog. But he has been on brand for show dog all evening.
Even with players, that's the best thing. Actually, maybe it's that we've just had a bunch of players that are dog people.
Maybe
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm not really a dog person. But
You're spooning him right now.
But I am an Australian cricket fan, so that's where my affinity for Bailey comes from.
So you say if we brought in an Australian cricket player right now, you'd be scratching behind the ears, going, oh, cricket hugs.
Maybe.
Probably. I'd like to see that. If any of you are watching, please consider coming on the OPL for some heavy petting. All right. Speaking of heavy petting, the MPL is up next. Pabu,
he's been on fire all
Praelis,
day.
Jake, Nick Boy, and Pulse all going head-to-head against 5 just random people in ARAM. What could possibly go wrong? We'll find out in a second.